I feel like at least half of the guys in this gym take steroids.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of Power Hour, our podcast. I'm here, Fausta, and I'm here with a couple special guests today. Duka, introduce yourself.
Love to meet you guys. I've been a member of Ultimate Fitness for the last 1.5 to 2 years. I'm known as that guy. There's been a reality TV program called Married at First Sight. You are bestowed by this celebrity today.
There you go. That is good enough. Maybe next year you'll be a C. Simon.
Hi guys, I'm the founder of Ultimate Fitness.
There you go. Everyone knows who you are.
Thank you for inviting me on this podcast today. It's an honor.
Thank you for coming on.
I want to say you sound like Barry White.
Honestly, man, the sound setup here is amazing.
Oh, it is so sick.
Does it normally sound like this, by the way?
I don't normally sound like this. I sound very high-pitched.
Yeah, not today though.
Not today, no.
We're back with my co-host, Camilla.
Hello guys, it's me, Camilla.
So she's feeling better today. She's not ill, so we got a little bit of extra energy. So last week we had a question about mental health, and we want to just bring that up because it's a pretty important topic to everyone that goes gym. I think it affects everyone. So how has the mental health helped you? I mean, how has the gym helped you with the mental health?
It's definitely something that keeps me busy. So like, whenever I feel like any type of way, I'll come here because it's like home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then having the music on and training, it kind of gets you into that vibe, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Like none of that not metal shit.
No. When you say metal shit or rap shit, it's just like a little word at the end of my
I feel like it depends how you feel, what type of vibe you're feeling, because sometimes it'll be like...
I do like the metal shit, but sometimes it's just not doing it for me. Sometimes. Duka, how do you think we has helped you out mentally?
I think when it comes to mental health, a big part of the problem is that everyone expects to be happy all the time. Right? Whether you're feeling sad, angry, pissed off, annoyed, euphoric, ecstatic, all of those are emotions. So when people specifically focus on mental health, they think they've got to be happy all the time. Now, as you grow up as an adult, as you grow up as a human being, right, you shouldn't just be focused on simply one emotion because you're a very complex emotional character. 100%. And obviously that leads back to the question, well, if you're not mentally happy or you're going through mental health problems, then it's more akin to you probably lacking purpose. And when people do come to the gym, right, their focus is, well, I'm trying to find some level of purpose because I feel lost, especially in the West, right? Because
it helps to give that structure, doesn't it?
Yes. People in the West, they got a roof over their head, they got running water, all the basic life amenities are taken care of. So therefore, what is the purpose of life? Because in yesteryears, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, right, before gym, before social media, a lot of people find purpose in just survival, right? Genghis Khan, 500-600 years ago, right? He couldn't go on his phone, order an ice cream from Uber Eats at 12 o'clock at night.
Would you say we take things for granted, hence it's leading to the lack of good mental health in people right now?
Do you think we're too soft now? If it's made us too soft.
I think I think that too many safety nets in the West, right? Because from my parts of the world,
too many isms, I think.
Too many isms, and especially my part of the world is that there aren't that many safety nets. Yeah. So therefore, it makes you really conscious of self-preservation because I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling that, I understand it, but it's the environment that people nurture around themselves around self-pity. Yeah. That's my thoughts around it, right? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that probably come on this podcast and say, hey, listen, how I feel is valid and this is what I'm currently going through. Yeah. But usually stems down to, well, what is your purpose? Yeah. Most people don't have a purpose.
No.
Most grown men, but I think that's specifically a notion that applies mostly to the West, because if you go to the parts of the world, people don't necessarily have the time of day to be thinking about mental health because they got to put food on the table, they got to try and survive, they got to feed their kids.
So they don't really address it, they just kind of put on a front, right?
Exactly.
How important do you think is addressing those issues?
I think it's not a case of addressing those issues. It's about changing the question of, okay, what is purpose? Yeah. Because how old are you girls, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 25.
Yeah.
And I'm 19.
You're 19, so you're young, right? Yeah. So when it comes to the question of mental health and keeping yourself going, you are so early in that stage of life and finding out who you are. Like your 20s.
That's true, yeah.
You're so young.
Like, By the age I'm 25, I can change my completely like.
Even when you're 25, your mind will be changing all the time. I think that just never really stops. Really,
It doesn't stop. I mean, what age I am now, I'm still finding new things. I mean, I still feel
videography right now, right? You're picking that up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You've been saying you had a videography class. How was that?
Sorry.
You said you had like a photography class. How did that go?
Well, photography already I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you go through different stages in life.
Photography class.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You showed me the photos.
Wait, that's what I mean, though, right? People wouldn't expect Simon, this like hench burly bloke, right? Looks so mean. Goes to photography classes, and I'm sure that's part of his purpose because he's really taking.
I mean, you learn as you go within life. You need to develop all the time.
Exactly. With me, bodybuilding was such a big part of my life. It was like everything. I mean, I lived and breathed bodybuilding for like 30 years, and after like I finished competing, I thought I need to broaden my horizons. I don't want to be so one-dimensional or just be known as a bodybuilder.
So when you do photography, would you concentrate on just the athletes, or would you actually like diverse into just doing any photography? Like
the classes I go to, it's diverse. So when you learn the basics of anything, photography, like aperture, exposure, you can more or less take photos of anything. Yeah. It's how you sort of perceive a subject. But I mean, last week we did. I was doing studio shots, so learning how to shoot in a studio with different lighting. Normally I shoot in the gym, it's just run and gun.
Yeah.
I can't control the lighting because we have natural sunlight, but in the studio we have like specific lighting. So this is something I'm learning now, aimed at a specific subject, so we can sort of change how you want the shadows and stuff like that. I love it. Absolutely. It's like
incredible.
I feel like that's a very good thing to learn, like a new skill, because you can go far with it. When it comes to like photography.
Yeah. How important do you think it is to actually nourish your hobbies outside of your work?
I love it. I think it's so important. I mean, like you said, the bodybuilding sort of, I've sort of ticked that box.
You've done it.
Would you go back to it? If you had it, like, would you do another show?
No.
Would you prep someone for a show?
I prep many people for shows, but I still do. But as far as competing, it's...
What made you like start competing? Yeah, bodybuilding. Was it just like that, or
I had an older brother, Stephen, who was really into the gym before me, and he was a lot bigger than me. And where we used to live before, there was no big gym. There was like a little small hardcore gym. And he took me to the gym one day, and I used to play rugby at school, and I was really underweight, and sort of got me into the gym. And
I can't imagine Simon and
neither can I.
I was 8 stone. So I responded really quick to weights.
Yeah.
And it was the summer holidays, and the guy who owned the gym says, well, you should do a competition. And bear in mind, I was still at school, 16. And so he entered me for my first comp, 16, and I won that teenage class.
Nice.
Then,
that's really...
So I got the book for it. Then it qualified me for the British Championships.
A little bit of a hot question to you. Were you natural in that competition, or what you not?
I didn't even know what protein powder was. Never mind. Bear in mind, I was still at school. Back then, no one ever talked about steroids.
Yeah. It was like a taboo.
Yeah. And like, you had to know someone who knew someone who knew someone. Yeah. And I was like, I couldn't afford protein powder in mine, like Dietable. Do you know what I mean?
Do you like the bodybuilding that was back then, or do you like it the way it's now? Because I feel like...
I think it has changed.
Yeah.
Massively. I mean, back then it was a bit of a cool sport. Not many people did it. And the gyms were, you had to find these gyms. There weren't gyms like there are now. I mean, now you sport for gyms now. Back then, the equipment was very basic. The gyms were like very spit and sawdust. You were looking at music in gyms. For
you to bodybuild, you kind of have to know what you're doing at that point, right? Because it's not as easy. You don't have.
If you look behind Camilla, there's a book called the Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia.
Oh yeah, I see it.
So before I started training, my brother made me read that book.
That was your Bible then.
Yeah, for like a month, study it, and so I had obviously knowledge before I started training. I didn't go in there blinded.
Yeah.
And obviously the guys at the gym were very knowledgeable, so they sort of helped me and they nurtured me into my bodybuilding journey.
So rolling back to the mental health, just kind of relates to it. Overcoming emotional eating habits. I know that mental health affects a lot of people with their eating habits, whether they stop eating altogether, whether they develop a mental health condition with the eating, or they actually end up binge eating. So how do you think is a good way to overcome your emotional eating habits?
I think both are linked because you ultimately are what you eat.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever you ingest mentally, emotionally, you've become that thing. And usually what tends to happen, right? It's again, I arc it back to the West, specifically in the West, when people's diets tend to go because they're going through an anxious point in their life, or they're going through divorce, or they lost their job, or whatever the case may be. A lot of people tend to stick to or filter around bad diets, and that can have an impact and effect on your sleeping patterns, how you feel, how healthy you are, because all those are indicative of how you feel. And a lot of people can't seem to make that link, or everything is mental. But apparently, recently, I've read a lot of studies that your gut biome has got such importance on your overall mood that people don't understand, realize. People think that mental health relates only to your mental and brain.
No, it relates to your diet massively.
100%.
There's a new program on Netflix about the gut. Have you been watching it?
No, what's it called?
Fix Your Gut.
Fix your gut.
It's about the microbiome. It's really good, actually, to talk about. But it's exactly about what you're saying, how your gut is like, how it contributes to how you think. It's like your second brain. Gut is.
Yeah, it's mad. I mean, how I got to this point, right, without even, because you know what, I'm going to watch that particular program. But I was reading up another case, how there was this old man who had an accident, and this individual needed a heart transplant. Now, there was a donor who gave their heart. This young kid passed away, and they used their heart to give to the old man.
Yeah.
And what they found out, that the hobbies and habits that this younger kid used to be into, rap and hip hop, right, who's the custodian of this heart that got donated to this old man picked up the same hobbies and habits that this young kid used to have. So therefore makes you think.
What's it called?
I thought the habits would be somehow related to the brain.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So I can't remember exactly who this individual was and what the name is, but I'll share that link with you guys. It just goes to show, well, everyone thinks that mental health, happiness, who you are, and identity revolves around the brain, but it doesn't. All your organs are interlinked a lot more than you give those organs credit for.
Okay. That's actually mind-blowing. I did not know
So
that.
imagine you're an old man, right? You go into the hospital, you get a heart transplant, and all of a sudden you like rap, hip-hop, poetry, you like rhyming.
So you're more connected
The
to
metal
your
shit.
heart.
Yes, so I think we are so archaic and so old-fashioned in terms of mental health and brain, but it's not, because everything is linked. We are an ecosystem.
Yeah. How would you advise someone to identify the fact that they have bad eating habits? For me personally, I'd probably
Like the way they behave, the way they be around people. Because
for eating habits for someone else to identify their own bad eating habits, if that makes sense. Because of course, like, it's easy to say like, oh, I'm eating healthy, but then obviously if you write it down, you might find that you're not.
You know what it's down
healthy.
to? I again, this arcs back from my time in uni, and I'm sure you can help out with this as well, Si. Usually people that tend to have bad diets, no matter how much they clean themselves externally and have showers, they still tend to smell.
Oh yeah.
Right. And BO and how you smell is indicative of overall diet, right? Because I know it sounds really bad.
That's why I don't smell, because I clean.
Well, if you overall you try to stick to a balanced diet and eat a fruit and eat a veg.
If your pH is imbalanced, right?
Yeah.
That affects your BO heavily.
So
know that.
so how do you imbalance your pH levels? By obviously drinking loads, by having loads of processed stuff, by having very quick sugars, fat-lactic sugars.
Oils.
Exactly.
there's one guy in the gym who actually told me that he's vegan for 5 years. I'm not sure if I told you about this.
I don't think
And
so.
he told me he stopped eating meat and like basically all the products that are involved with animals, because he thinks that nowadays all the meat is being injected, which could be true. We don't know what they put in the
But I
food
mean,
nowadays.
Vegetables are sprayed, meats are injected. That's just.
Yeah, but if you
Factory.
grow it, let's say in your garden,
I feel like
if you have a farm, if you produce it yourself, then you kind of know what you put inside your body. You know what I mean?
But how many foods do you think is produced by natural farms, and how many is actually mass produced with the chemicals and
Most of it is massive. It's all to do with money, isn't
Right.
it? Trying to
It's
get as
the
much product as fast as they can
exactly.
to
So you
shops.
can try eat healthy. You can say that you eat completely clean, but we never really do. That makes sense.
You never know what's in the food.
Yeah, you don't know. But you kind of know, essentially. You still get your protein in, you still get your carbs, you can still make a little observation, I think.
I mean, everything's really processed because if you look at the globalization of Earth and people and how the population size has increased over the years, it's like everything has been genetically modified for efficiency. So when people say, oh, I don't want to process, actually, no, what most of the foods that I eat from the supermarket have been genetically modified to give them that shape and that taste and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's just the
all size and everything. Oh, it's sweet.
Especially like the fruit, apples.
Yeah.
Or they all
Watermelons.
All bananas.
Yeah.
Like,
and people don't know that. And the thing is that with a lot of vegan, well, you know, I don't eat any processed foods. I only eat fruit and vegetable. I'm like, no, you are eating something that's been genetically modified over decades to have that appearance. So it's like not many people understand that if you really want to be quote unquote against processed foods, you have to live on a land in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the equator.
For example, apples. Can you tell, like in supermarkets, they all look like all red, same size and everything.
Yeah.
But when I used to have, obviously when I used to live in Poland, in the garden, you have your basically, your nan would like plant apple trees and all the fruits. And the apples that we had were always like green and they were small and tasted so good.
Even the texture is different.
Everything's different.
Don't forget, when you go to a supermarket and you buy apples from the grocery section, they've come from wherever, and they've probably been. I actually watched a program. They've been in storage for about 6 months prior to coming to the supermarket.
Wow!
So they've not been picked from last week.
Huh.
So they put them in these dark warehouses. This room by this certain temperature. They kept for about 6 months before they even
reach use.
Yeah,
which is not normal for Apple to actually.
No.
That is mad. So the sell-by dates, right? I've been sticking to those sell-by dates. Like there's no tomorrow, no this, no that, this.
It's just that
if the fruit doesn't have any mold, if it doesn't look browned up,
I feel so stupid. I feel like I should have known this.
Same with the bread. There was a test with like British.
Yeah,
the
white bread.
Toasted, yeah. Because like in Europe we have a different bread. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I mean like
that proper bread. You go down to your you cut it in half. It's nice and fresh, nice and crunchy. Yeah.
When I came to UK and I seen that like toasted bread, that's what they eat. Like comparing to our bread, it was like what the.
But then if you compare the UK bread to then American bread, then it's a whole different race. They put sugars in their bread, so their bread is actually sweet.
Yeah, that's true.
The bread should be getting dry, not molded, right? And then toasted bread when you keep it for long.
But they put a lot of preservatives in bread, don't they?
Yeah.
But this is the thing as well, though, right? So with bread, obviously, the mental health, with overall health, some of the longest lived people actually are Chinese, Cantonese. Now, when you are talking about food culture and what food is like, how different has it been from your particular culture and your background side and the West? Is there more of a focus around having organic foods? Is there more focus on having very specific remedies, or how's?
Or is it just having an active lifestyle as well?
I remember when my parents and my grandpa were alive, and looking back, I didn't really appreciate it back then, but everything was cooked fresh.
Yeah.
I used to steam the vegetables. I used to actually grow the vegetables in the back garden. And the fish they'd get from the market, and so it was like as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
And nothing was from the supermarket, and everything was like prepared
fresh.
It'd make like a family sort of occasion out of it every meal. And we didn't have anything processed, nothing out of packets, nothing dried. So everything, and looking only now when I think about it back then, how great our food was, fresh, and how nutritious it was.
It's also the togetherness as well, because again, when you hark it back to mental health and people, food isn't just about putting something in your mouth and that's it, but it's the overall occasion. And I think overall happiness with people around you and some of the emotional connections they do have while sitting down and eat, because in our culture, us Europeans, right, we like to have a sit down, have a bit of an espresso, eat some food. And whereas in the West, people tend to have their dinner trays in front of the TV. This is how we ingest it. And this is what I mean about ingestion, not just food, but your environment, your habitat and information. And obviously, if you're growing up around a big family, organic foods, you sat down, mom, dad, uncle, auntie, kids, of course you're going to feel happy. And by definition, that's going to make you feel better as well.
Yeah. So I read a study as well about how much people enjoy food. And they were saying that they can have like the same exact food made by the exact same place. But if they're eating with their family, if there's like that one space where they remember that food that they ate, that food will be the best food they've ever tasted. So you might have like a coffee where you really enjoyed with your friend or whatever. And now
because you have that connection.
Yeah, so
that is the atmosphere as well.
Exactly. To you, that's the best coffee you've ever had. It might not be. Literally, it might be the shittest one, but you had the first time drinking it.
Don't forget when you're eating, it's like all the different senses. And each of those, like, you smell, your eyes, and the taste.
Talking about coffee, I love coffee smell.
Yeah. It's almost like saying, would you rather have a Five Guys and a 5-course meal in a jail cell, or would you rather have a bit of toast and a bit of butter around your family and friends and the fresh mountainside Alps? Like,
but if you're in a jail cell, those Five Guys will slap. I'm telling you.
No, they'll slap, but of course they'll slap. And
that
when
will be the best.
Talking about Five Guys, I've never tried Five Guys in my life.
you're missing out.
You're missing out.
I had one last Friday.
I've never seen it on your on Ricky's story.
It's expensive though.
It's
So three burgers and one fries, 45 quid. 45.
Sorry.
It's like
For 3 burgers.
Yeah, you pay like full meal prices, like restaurant prices for burgers.
Yeah, it's
basically.
I'd rather just go to a chippy like Adam's.
No, stop it, man. Don't disrespect Five Guys like that.
Guys, Caspian Pizza.
Nah, bro.
Adam's Grill. That's the one.
No,
You can't do that, man. I think you're paying for.
Have you guys tried it? Do you know what I'm talking
I'll
about?
go to Caspian, but the one next door. Because we have
Adam's Grill.
the chicken. Yeah, but I have grilled chicken and rice.
They actually make really nice grilled food there as well. And it's like you pay £8, you get big breast pieces, like 5 or 6, massive bowl of
You can
rice.
tell she's dieting because anything still tastes good.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Just dried chicken. Yeah, that tastes great, mate. That tastes great.
But
I know the
feel like
5 a day.
If you put yourself mentality, it's not really an issue. Like when you're dieting, if you like, because a lot of people make it into like, oh my god, it's so hard. Oh my god, if you keep on having that mindset, then yeah, it will be hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
If you come to it, okay, I have to go through this. I have to go through the hard process to get to the top. That's the whole point of it. You have to go through the hard part. If you think like, okay,
there's not really a shortcut, is it? You just have to putting
yourself down, thinking like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do this. Then
Then
don't do it. You know what I mean?
So why is it? Are you prepping for a competition or?
Yeah.
So
I have 5 weeks left.
Have you not been watching the last two?
I know, right?
I have. I've been really busy.
Testing it.
Discussions there.
Every time I speak about food, I just light up. She gets so excited at this point.
Obviously, I've been dieting since January.
Yeah.
Since the start of January. Obviously, I will be like, oh yeah, I'm hungry. I'm
It's
craving.
understandable.
It's normal, like,
It's understandable.
but like, it's not like I'm dying for it. You know how we mentioned, like, there's people dying in different countries and stuff.
Yeah.
No,
And you're literally just going through a diet to be
You're still eating 4 or 5 meals a day. And
Yeah, you gotta refill your head, man. Like, you
I
good.
have water. I have a house.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
You got your health,
I'll
yeah.
still eat my food.
You're not starving. You're
I'm
just
not starving. Like, it's just a diet and it's just some type of process that you need to go through. Even not even talking about bodybuilding, anything in life that you want to achieve, there's steps to it, and there will be like difficult times, but that's when you grow in those difficult times. You know what I mean? So I'm not starving like other people in different countries. That's why I'm not thinking like that. It is hard.
Yeah, because it could always be harder, right?
You got to enjoy that process.
Don't forget it's a choice as well. You choose to diet.
You choose to do something.
That's another thing. So,
But it's healthy for you in general because fasting, right? If you look at scientific literature, any form of a fast over periods of time, right? It can be really healthy for you and longevity of life.
It's like detox, isn't it?
It's like detox. And I suppose with a lot of people, and if you look at bodybuilders or people that are out of shape or morbidly obese, it's usually the body mass accompanied by an individual who's naturally their body weight can't attain up to that level of mass. That tends to bring forward problems around heart disease, around liver problems, around kidney problems.
Yeah.
So fasting in itself, even though it's good, and not many people get that because it teaches you discipline. It teaches.
I think it's starving. That's the misconception that you get.
a lot of people think it's like, oh, why are you doing it? You're basically starving yourself. But it's actually, as you mentioned.
So has anyone tried fasting?
I haven't, but I would love to.
I went through a stage where I was fasting just to a few different reasons. To try and elevate my own testosterone levels because I knew they were low, and also I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. So my doctor told me to sort of go through stages where not to eat so much carbohydrates. I found it really beneficial.
Yeah. How long do you normally fast
I
for?
was doing 18 hours.
Okay.
It wasn't every day. It was
So
probably
it's like intermittent fasting.
yeah. So it'd be 2 days. The days I don't train, which was be a Wednesday and a Sunday, I'd have my last meal the night before 6 at night, and my first meal the day before the afternoon the next day.
Yeah.
And the first couple of weeks are hard, but after a while, you sort of you get used to it, and it's sort of now when like I sort of miss a meal. I don't care now. I think I can fast for like I can do it a whole day.
You know you can do it.
Yeah.
There was some type of, not quote, but did someone say that a human needs to do something for 21 days and they get
Create habits.
Yeah, to create habits, to get used to it. And then once after, they just
pick it up because more natural.
And usually when people don't, I mean, even when it comes to fasting, people tend to have a bad relationship with food is because they don't usually have a lot going on in their day-to-day life. If you're someone that's busy, whether you do a property renovation or you're running a gym or you're trying to prep for competition, it means that you are busy and you got purpose. Everything, like I said earlier on, everything revolves around to if you've got a lack of purpose, then you'll find escape through other mundane things such as overeating, oversleeping, overconsumption of stuff.
You just forget to look at
and eating crap is like a quick fix.
Quick fix, endorphins, high endorphin spike, you're happy, and then it goes back down. You're chasing that same high each and every single time.
Yeah.
But
I feel like a lot of people making excuses now to, to actually make their own meals or whatever. A lot of people nowadays like go and buy food basically because they're busy. You know what I mean? Or like
everyone's busy. It's just about how you actually schedule your day.
The way you actually manage your time. Because for example, I'll go to uni. I have a part-time job. Obviously now I'm prepping and like my mind's actually really busy. But as long as I make that time, to prep my food.
Waking up 2 hours earlier each day.
Well, you got to prioritize what's important. Obviously, when you're prepping, food's got to be number one.
Yeah.
So you got to make time. Whether it's 2 hours, prep for 2 hours, that can prep for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So you're saving yourself time, really.
You don't have to prep your food 5 times a day.
So, for example, I woke up today at 5:30, came in to do my cardio, went to uni already. Obviously, now I'm here doing a podcast. I'm going to train. So I'll be done by 4 o'clock when my day's done.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
So take it to another topic. I got a little statement that I found online. That's a very common discussion right now. PTs don't make good money. Do you think it's true or false? And what determines that?
I mean, I'm looking at you, Sai, because I got no idea, right?
PT, so
Okay.
Are you okay, gym owner?
Well, the thing with a PT, as opposed to online, you're restricted by how many people you can train at one go. So say you train 10 people, which is a long day, and it's not sustainable training 10 people. So I would say on average you could train probably 4 or 5 days. So it's like 25. So you can make good money.
Yeah, anything after 5 is a little bit tedious.
See, I had someone tell me before because I said it to them, because as you already know, I am studying accounting and this is something I don't want to do in life. Yes, I don't want to do a 9-to-5 job, blah, blah, blah. So obviously I said to them, okay, I want to be a personal trainer. I want to do coaching because this is something like my kind of thing. It's my passion. And they were like, oh, you're not going to make any money. Like you're not going to go high with this. Don't even bother.
I feel like as a PT, you're self-employed most of the time. So you get what you put in.
Exactly. So
well, it's like anything, what you put in, you get out. So
yeah.
What do you all about the hard work?
What do you think makes a good PT? Mistakes that PTs
I mean, I've seen a few bad PTs. I mean, personally,
Let's talk about the bad PTs. That's more fun.
I'm going to name and shame a few people.
And you know what is right? So I'm not a PT. I'm okay versed when it comes to diet and food. Obviously, because of my coach and my dad, where I come from, and all the rest of it. But like, I believe that as a PT, you've got to be a walking advert of how you show yourself across the clients.
You're self-marketing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're out of shape, and then you can't even do half the exercises that you're pushing your clients into doing, and there's so many, and it's like, and I call these people grifters, because what usually tends to happen is that these PTs will go on a cycle of steroids, they'll go and do a competition at the PCA first timers, they'll have a bloated, rounded face, a spotted back, they wear a stringer vest, and they think they're the God's gift to earth when it comes to PTing. And I'm sick to death of it. And what some of these PTs will do is they'll give their clients a list of steroids to take. And once that client has finished PTing with them over the case of like 4 or 5 weeks, 8 weeks, these guys will just drop them off, having caused all that damage.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, my guy, like, have you taken them through a PCT? Have you taken them through what it may mean to come off steroids or to take steroids or diet?
Take anything that they are basically given.
And they don't teach. It's like they try to handhold them, and they won't necessarily teach them the implications of what they're trying to push their clients through. And you see all the time. You see specifically at the gym as well. at this gym as well. But like,
when someone gives, say, can you be some steroids? Yeah, they're going to respond very fast.
Yeah.
They're going to like grow three times as fast as they would naturally.
Yeah.
So they will see the results from this PT, thinking it's like, you know, this new thing, but so the steroids are working.
It's first diet training, then steroids.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think
genetics
steroids always make you look good? Or does it just go the other way sometimes if you don't put the effort of training?
I mean,
can they make you look worse?
You're not going to take steroids and not train.
Yeah.
It'd be silly too.
It's pointless.
I mean, there are some people say, I've taken steroids, see results.
From my own experience, I think people rush into taking steroids, but I trained naturally for like 5 years before I even took anything.
Yeah, which makes sense. You want to build that muscle as much as you can before we take something extra.
Take gear straight away, but it does work. People say they don't really.
It takes time to where you want to get.
Just know what you're taking.
A 20% extra, depending on what you take, and
a
lot
of people say it levels you out. If you are going to those levels, maybe where you're competing nationally and you're going to the pro shows, it does level you out. I think.
Would you say genetics take a big part in this?
Of course, because I've known guys from this gym who've took steroids, genetics, and you wouldn't even tell they train. So and I know some guys that probably have got great genetics, and then you take small cycle and they blow up. So obviously genetics plays a massive part.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not took anything for about 6 to 8 months, and I can tell I've lost weight. I mean, people, I've done it on a purpose to sort of give my system a clean out.
Which you need sometimes, right?
Of course you do. And a lot of people, another thing, back in the day when I was, competing, when you off steroids, you're off everything. Now people like cruise, which is like, they're taking small amounts, not even small amounts of testosterone between cycles.
Yeah.
Do you have to stop it fully, or
you don't have to do anything? But for longevity, to give your body a break, it's wise. Say you do a 12-week cycle, it's wise to have a 12-week complete break off it. Because
that's another thing that you need to people need to learn about. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, because now with like social media, people need to look good all the time, so they're scared to come off.
But the thing is that it's not necessarily about looking good, and this is another gripe of mine when it comes to PTs, because they push forwards to this idea of looking good. Looking good and feeling good are two completely separate things, and people don't understand the negative consequences that steroids can have on your internal organs. Right? I've heard of so many
mental health as well.
Yes, so many horror stories of people having kidney issues and dialysis, and then I've heard so many conversations.
Everyone knows about the roid range. That's the term for a reason, I think.
Do you think you taking steroids has affected you in any type of way mentally?
Of course it has. I mean, I know when I'm on cycle, and my missus will know as well. She'll be the first to know. I'm very snappy, and I am, because normally I'm quite a relaxed person, but I do change. I'm the first to admit I do change, and that's what puts me off taking steroids again.
You don't want to.
No, it's obviously running a business. I mean, it's not good for business.
No.
And obviously the lack of blood work as well, and that's another gripe.
I did a blood test yesterday actually.
I was not going to get results
tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do body MOTs like that.
Yeah.
People
you
think
need to do your body.
I look great, I look muscular, I look athletic, but I'm like, wow, what do your blood work say?
Another thing which people don't talk about is the fertility aspect when people take steroids.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, it made me infertile for like years. And I say it's a funny story, but it's not funny. Because an average man's sperm is like 50. I think how many sperm is it in a man's sperm? One drop.
In one drop is something stupid like 100 plus million.
100 plus million there. So a few years ago, I went for a sperm test. You're gonna laugh. And got the results back. I went to the doctors. She goes, "Oh, we got your results back." I said, "What is it? You got 6? What 6 million?" She goes, "They got 6 sperm."
Oh no!
Did that happen?
Oh no!
It's called azumless. There's a word for it, but it means like no sperm.
So when you got that information, how did that make you feel? Did that make you feel less of a man?
Yes, it did. Yeah. And it did. It really sort of made me depressed for years.
Yeah, I think whether you think whether you want to have kids or you don't, that's just
I did. I mean, I do. Yeah.
That would affect you.
And a lot of people don't consider that. So some people might be lucky enough to abuse steroids and still be fertile, right?
Yeah. A lot of people, when they take long courses, it does shut the system down for a long time, and it does take a long time. And the older you get, the harder it is to come back.
So I got a couple questions from the viewers. Simon, you just kind of answered that one already. However, the question is, would you ever take steroids?
I've thought about it, especially growing up. 100% I've thought about it. I've done so much reading around it, and I know what some steroids are. Trend, test. I mean, I could name all of them. I even have conversations with Simon, and I think it's just more.
ABCs.
Yeah, it's more of a case of I wanted to go down the bodybuilding lifestyle, the fitness model lifestyle, but then the more I read into, the more I understood and realized that the sacrifices that I have to give off to see success is absolutely crazy, and it's also down to it's just being honest with myself in the mirror that I don't have the genetics. To take me to the next level where I can reap the benefits and the rewards of me, for example, quote unquote, abusing steroids to trying to get that next stage. I don't have it.
Naturals.
I mean, with naturals, who's interested in natural bodybuilding? No one's really fully interested in natural bodybuilding or seeing naturals on stage.
It's not the big show.
It's not a big show. People don't have the muscle size. People don't have the aesthetics.
And I think for most people, if you are putting so much of your health at risk, because at the end of the day, bodybuilding is an extreme sport, I think. It requires a lot from your body.
It's a visual sport.
Visual sport.
It is, yeah. And I feel like if you are taking so much, right, you kind of like, you either want to make it or you don't, right? And if you're putting your body through so much, you don't want to get to a stage where like it's not really worth it. Right.
But majority don't make it. Majority, especially on YouTube, you'll see videos and podcasts and so on. Well, these guys who chase the dragon, right? And then do that for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And at the end of it, they have a couple of trophies from a local amateur show to have shredded glutes. I'm like, all right, where did that really get you? Yes, fair enough. You built up a business, you made a bit of money, and then that can be a lifestyle. But still, when you're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and you got health implications, and they gotta go on dialysis, or you're infertile. I mean, the best person to speak about this is side because you would have known plenty of bodybuilders. I'm sure in your area, in your field, there's a lot of regrets, I'm assuming, from a lot of bodybuilders.
I look at a lot of the bodybuilders who could be back in the day, and I see them now, and a lot of them, they look like they've aged.
Yeah.
It
takes the toll on you, right?
It does, yeah. And like the constant years of dieting, smashing the bodies. I mean, a lot of them, the folks, basically.
Yeah, you see them like within 10 years since they started bodybuilding.
It's knowing when to quit bodybuilding and like, you know, because it is a very addictive bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I mean, I was competing for like 28 years and it was my life, but it took a lot of willpower to sort of leave the sport and find something else to do.
Yeah.
What was the number one thing that made you think, you know what, I gotta take foot off of this and not carry on?
I think it was time where it was affecting my relationships.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very big impact.
Yeah. Every time I was with someone, I put bodybuilding first, and I kept having to change partners.
When it comes to this sport, I feel like you have to be selfish. You know, you're not gonna go out with your friends no more. Like nowadays, your friends, as we already mentioned, they're not really your friends. They want to do is go party, have drinks with you.
Me and Camilla are lucky to kind of have each other and just be doing the same thing. You like your parties.
I love my parties.
Since January, since I've started my prep, I had nobody to message me. Oh, hi Camilla, let's go just to have a talk.
A meal, yeah. Let's go.
Not a meal,
but not a meal. But I mean, in the sense that it's
or like bring your wholesome. Food,
and have something wholesome.
Or let's go have a coffee. No, none of my friends message me.
Go for brunch at Turtle Bay.
The only thing is, they always ask me to go out. Is when it comes to drinking, going out for food.
Do your friends, that circle, do they understand? Are they in the training circle, the gym circle?
I wouldn't even call them my friends. You know, it's
no. It's like your drinking buddies. It's basically uni friends or something like that.
Friends, whatever. I don't have friends. I don't have a.
We only have a podcast.
Sorry. You are my friend.
You know, you'll make new friends here.
You will, and it's lack of purpose.
That's what, because before, when I was like 17, whatever, 18, I kind of had a different mindset. Like, I always wanted to have friends, this and that. I didn't want to be lonely. But now I kind of understand, like, it's important to get yourself to do something that you really want to do in life. And if you want to be dedicated to it, then go for it. You know what I mean? That's why what bodybuilding has taught me now, like, you got to be solo.
taking it back to the original question, would you consider would you consider taking steroids?
Obviously,
Personally, not consider right now. Maybe down the line of like 5-10 years, if I'm really struggling to just level myself out, maybe. Right now, no.
I'll be honest, because bodybuilding, it's something that I like to do. I'm not doing this for just to show off, whatever to
and
get
you're doing figure, which is like obviously.
I'm
like
not doing this just to get a good placement. You know, whatever will be.
You're going all in, and
yeah, it will be. You know what I mean? Whatever judgment I get at the end of the show, I will work on it. So because I'm very, very young. Obviously, I'm 19 years old. Like I'm a baby. But for my age, I feel like my genetics are good.
Yeah.
And
100%.
personally, like obviously, I want to grow a little bit more naturally. Give myself a few like off season where I push the food to the limit. Because in December, I was on probably nearly 5,000 calories.
Wow. How long have you been training for seriously then?
I'm on 3.
Properly, I start training when I was 17, but I've been in the gym when I was 15. But back then, I was just doing training
it's like trial
legs.
and error. I always
3 times a week, I was training legs.
So 2 years really, you've been training seriously.
Which is insane because your progress has been amazing.
Thank you.
There's different primes as well. So another thing with that is that people think, oh, I've been training for 2 years. But if you start training at the age of 16, 17, your natural prime, even without training, will be your mid to late 20s, but that's your athletic prime. Muscle maturity prime will happen in your mid 30s to late 30s as well. So don't feel
even early 40s.
Even early 40s. Hence why a lot of these bodybuilding champions are that particular age.
Yeah.
So don't feel pushed or stressed to fast forward your journey.
Yeah, don't rush to level yourself.
That's what I never want to do. I don't want to be like, oh, I want to get this.
Yeah.
One thing about me, I am very rushy person who always wants to get something quickly.
You want to be the best at the end of the day.
Yeah, you want to be the best, but I understand you got to go through the process to get somewhere, you know what I mean? And as I mentioned, because I'm only 19 years old, I want to kind of get the taste of it, of how to obviously develop myself even more and grow for better. So as you mentioned, if I'm ever considering steroids, I don't know, but obviously if I want to go far with this, then I'll probably do.
Consider it, right?
Yeah,
at least consider it.
Yeah,
Is the Olympia your sort of?
Yeah, this is where I would love. Well, let's not. Let's be realistic.
You're gonna have to take something.
It will. Yeah, it will take time. Obviously, in 10 years, I'll be 29.
Yeah.
So if I work for the next 10 years, grow, I could go. Well, hopefully one day by the age of 30, I could. Olympia. You never know what's gonna happen.
You never know. Keep your head high. Keep your goals high as well.
Yeah, as long as you have the goals and you work towards it, because nothing comes easy in life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm expecting to take a long time to actually be at the top.
Oh yeah, of course. So if you're young, you take time. Take time getting.
100%.
Yeah. So a couple rapid fire questions. Should you do cardio if you're trying to get big?
100% yes.
Yes, 110%.
Even that extra 10 minutes.
Hey, cardiovascular health will trump everything, because without cardiovascular health, mate, like forget bodybuilding. If you can be laying in a ditch and be dead, who cares about muscles?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people nowadays, especially like guys, they just skip cardio because
they skip legs as well.
I used to skip cardio when I was bulking, and I just wanted to get big, and I was scared to burn calories doing anything.
Yeah.
So drive everywhere, drive supermarket. But now, as you get older, you understand the importance of cardiovascular health.
Stay functional, I think.
Yeah, and like when you do cardio, it makes you sort of
eat more as well.
You digest your food. That's
and that better. I feel better as well.
I've learned that from last one.
I mean, joint health as well. Joint health as well. I feel like by doing cardiovascular health,
you always feel better doing cardio.
100%. 100%.
It gets with your mental health as well.
Yeah.
If you're just there,
is yes, do cardio when you're getting big. Don't forget about
100%.
it. Next rapid fire question. Do you stretch before or after the workout?
I can't lie, guys. I don't stretch.
I don't stretch at all, man. That's so bad.
I stretched before I came on this podcast, actually.
This is like probably the worst thing.
If it's legs before.
Always stretch. Always
it's
stretch.
so beneficial for you.
Prevent your injuries, get a higher range in movements as well, get better results. It's so important to stretch.
I would rather do cardio than stretch, I'll be honest.
Well, you're meant to do both.
I don't like stretch.
And I say you're meant to stretch before and after you want.
I mean, can you touch your toes
do
when you
at
stand up?
home, like,
Can you
you
touch
know.
your toes, your legs straight?
Oh yeah,
You sure?
Yeah.
Most people can't. Most people can't.
What I do
when you're 25, 30, you're gonna start losing that flexibility.
no.
So
But what
your joints start stiffening
What
up.
I usually do when I'm like about to do my session, I hang off the bar and I stretch my back for 20 seconds. I do that a lot in the gym. If you see me like getting my session, I'll just come to one of the machines and then stretch my back. So I do that often, and then sometimes
A lot of the top professional bodybuilders I know, they treat stretching like a proper session.
Yeah. I think it's
I need to implement that.
I have mobility and flexibility that I do just one day where I don't do anything else.
Remember, you know Andrew Jack who came here?
Yeah.
I mean, look how big he is, and he can do like the full splits. He can do the full splits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he can
but
do
he-
like the box sounds as well.
I did see a video of him doing something. I think he lifted his leg up.
He is flexible.
He is an athlete.
He's in 40 pounds.
Yeah, he's an absolute, like, he's such an athlete. Like, doesn't he come from a Muay Thai background or like
I'm not
martial
sure
arts
actually,
background?
but he's
I've seen him training with you,
Yeah.
Ricky, and someone
Josh.
else. Yeah. If you look, you guys all on three look so tiny next to him.
And they're not tiny people, so
I
trust me.
know. It's crazy.
I'll insert that clip.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me see if I have any more questions. This was a nifty one. It's not too good, but we'll ask anyway. How do you know you're hitting the correct muscles during the exercise? All I'm gonna say is just focus on the muscle that you're working on and see if it's moving.
Yeah.
Look for the a little bit of a redness, maybe if you're trying to max it
If that
out.
muscle was pumped and like if
Yeah.
you saw the next day, then
Then you're hitting the right muscle.
Depends on intensity as well. Like, is he compound movement? Are you trying? Is he around hypertrophy? Is he around strength? A lot of people try to aim for all three things. It's like, well, they want to be a powerlifter and a bodybuilder, and they want to look good at the same time. I'm like, my guy, pick your struggle, right? You don't have the genetics to be able to do all three things in one given session. I mean, are you keeping your rest periods nice and short because you're focusing on overall health? Are you trying to build like nose contracting muscles? So yeah. Some people genetically can get away with it, other people can't. It's case by case basis.
I think if you're able to contract that muscle, then you know you're feeling. A lot of people when they train back, for instance, they're just moving the bar down from the pull down.
And they use a lot of momentum, I think.
They're leaning back, so they're not actually holding that contraction with the lats. They're just pulling it down.
Yeah, and you see a lot of like this movement, which means like
Probably
you're
working their biceps.
You know what I see very much often? They all just go so fast with that bar, and then
They're probably in a rush.
but then you'll get people who do control it really slow and squeeze. I'm not really that type of a person.
You got to find that in between.
Yeah,
to find them between.
yeah, whatever tempo it works.
And I think the last question is that's not the question. I asked that one last one. Oh yeah. Is there any natural bodybuilders here in UFB that are good? That's that question.
Are they natural? You know what?
That have competed.
You mean
because
competitive?
they have-
Well,
they have
Derek was. Well, we got Kai.
You're gonna say Derek boys.
Kai's natural.
He looks
Huh?
really, really good.
Yeah, Kai's.
Kai looks really good.
I prepped him for all the shows.
Yeah.
We had Derek. When he competed naturally last year, and obviously he's.
He upgraded, so enhanced.
Who else have we had?
I feel like we have so many people on our walls.
Josh.
Yeah, he competed naturally.
Yeah, Josh last year.
But what did he place? We don't really know.
I think, he didn't win anyway.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna try again anyway. So better luck to Josh.
We have got a lot of good physiques in the gym. Not necessarily the ones that compete. Look at Chris. Our PT. He's got a great physique.
Chris has
Josh got really good physique.
Chris has insane genetics as well. He just
enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have some good physiques down here, and
I think there's a lot of good physiques. Not as many people are competing.
and like you said
right
before,
now.
we've got a lot of people here that take steroids that don't look.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you'd be surprised.
You'd
You'd be surprised. Like, what? You take steroids, my guy? Seriously? Are you for real, man? Like,
when the traps are like here.
it's like, what? You take steroids? It's almost bad because obviously that's that person's purpose. They think that by going in a cycle, they're going to be happy. They're going to achieve their dreams. But like, I feel like at least half of the guys in this gym take steroids.
They have big chairs and big shoulders, but the legs.
And it's usually on the Thursdays and Fridays that the gym. It's usually the Thursdays and the Fridays that the gyms tend to be like really quiet as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Every
No, you can. there's definitely a trend in this gym. Like Monday, everyone's his chest. Tuesday, back.
Yeah.
Wednesday's normally quieter.
Tuesday's always back.
Yeah, because it's quieter. Thursday, shoulders. Fridays and Saturday, everyone does legs.
Mondays, either legs or push.
Everyone wants to push for the weekend, I think. That's why it is.
Saturdays are arm
Thing is,
day.
we got some great leg equipment here, so there's no excuses.
Oh, I know about that side. You tried to kill me, Simon.
If
You
you
tried to commit murder.
You did a set of
Guys.
pendulum squats.
if you ever come to Ultimate Fitness, then the fucking hack squat is the hardest hack squat you ever tried.
Is that the one you took me on, Si?
No, that's the pendulum.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't even know the
I
difference.
don't even know the difference.
The pendulum is the
yellow
hanging, the hanging
No,
on
the hack
floor.
squat here at Ultimate
So the
Fitness
Cybex hack squat, which Camilla's talking about, it's like the OG hack squat, and a lot of people, because that's sort of a legendary hack squat now. People have offered me stupid money for a hack squat. They don't make it anymore. But I've been offered like £20,000 for that hack squat.
Man, you got a business right there. Why? And you got the
Don't
plans.
sell it. Don't sell it.
No, not sell that, but make the plans out of it because you know where all the hinges and stuff are and remake
It's got to
sell
be
it.
that original Cybex hack squat.
Yeah.
Where's that brand?
You know what? A lot of hack squats, whenever you go to the gym, they just have massive
Yeah, exactly.
arms. It's just not
No, I
what
agree.
you want from me. You know what I mean?
If you
this
can
is
do like
hard.
5 or 6 plates in that hack squat, then that's seriously strong.
Oh, yeah. That's seriously strong. I can only do like 2 plates max at this point.
Yeah, I've done 6.5.
That is free.
I think Ricky,
That's when that was like
Ricky did
my
7 plates.
strongest.
7. Ricky's absolutely insane with his
Rick is
strength.
a monster.
He's a strong guy, man.
He's a strong.
It's all the pizza.
Have you seen his diet on his?
Yeah, I've seen his diet. Yeah.
What diet?
You know his stories. Every day I see something new, and then he would just get like a Domino's pizza, pepperoni, and then
If it works, it works with him. I'm not gonna.
he's living life.
He's living life. Anything else you guys would like to address? Anything you'd like to speak about extra?
I feel like we kind of went through.
We've gone through a lot. I mean, I suppose
We're going to talk about Married at First Sight.
Ah, bro. You know what? Okay, so when it comes to reality TV,
Camilla, do you know sort of your history and stuff?
No, I was just wondering.
stalker.
No.
It's all right. You can stalk me. Don't worry about it.
I was thinking, is it actually staged or
Yeah. 50% of it is staged.
Okay.
50% is staged, yeah.
is this something like they will tell you, okay, do this like on the side because you're doing your own thing, and then they will like tell you, oh, okay, no, switch this and say this.
So what they'll do is they'll ask you the same question 10 different times.
Yeah.
By asking that question in different ways, they'll usually tend to get a different answer. And once they get those different answers, they'll stitch you to a storyline to portray something. Exactly. And with reality TV, what a lot of people don't understand and realize is that 1/3 are complete narcissist. The other 1/3 have got mental health problems, and the only other 1/3 are actually down to earth individuals. And
Which one do you fall under?
I'll probably say maybe mental health problems / down to earth individuals. But no, the reason why I say that,
crossover now.
yeah, the reason why I say this is because if everyone was sane and sensible, it'd be boring.
How did you end up there? Did you
Oh,
get
they
invited?
they just contacted me through Instagram. Yes.
Yeah, they do that nowadays. They will message.
Did you not apply for it then?
Nah.
They will do that, and they will message you through Instagram if you
It's like,
want to.
oh, you look like you have some issues.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. It's we feel like it'd be great for this and great for that. But usually what it tells to, we feel like you may have enough personal issues where we think you might be like useful for this TV program.
Can you help?
Was you not scared of going on a show? Like, how did you feel about it?
Not really, no, because I suppose if you're comfortable in your own identity and who you are, they're not really gonna be scared of what other people think of you. So a lot of the problems, especially even earlier on, is that people tend to say stuff like, I got no friends or this or that or vice versa. If you have got a wonderful relationship with yourself, right, and you truly love your own company, love yourself, then anything else, friendships, work, job, everything else is a complete bonus. Even when you said, oh yeah, friends this and friends that, if you're truly happy with what you do, they're never going to be like sad for the rest of your life. And it's the same thing with when these shows approach you or situations come at you in life and all the rest of it. So for me, as long as I'm content with myself, right, and I always try to do these daily checks, these weekly checks in terms of how I feel, where I'm going at, what I think like, then that's the marker of if you should accept stuff into your life or not.
Would you do a reality show again?
With majority of reality TV shows out there, they don't pay money. People mostly do for clout.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Same for the Love Island.
What did you get out of it? Did it change your life in any way?
What it's enabled me to do, I suppose, is made me more of a confident individual around public settings. I mean, I had that to begin with anyway, but that's a skill set that I think.
Yeah, Duka can talk nowadays.
Yes, because if you go to a job interview, or if you go on a date, or if you're speaking in front of a crowd of people, or you got to represent or showcase an idea, or lead a team meeting, then that skill of being able to speak in front of large crowds of people is absolutely invaluable.
Yeah.
If you don't have those communication skills, right, no matter which part of life you come from, no matter what your background is, then you will not get far in life unless you're very specific and you are an absolute someone that's an expert within a given field. If you don't have the people skills, then you won't go far. If you want to be a bodybuilding champion, best believe that politics are going to come into where you will need to have the people skills to represent your sport. Because if you don't, even though your body may be a 10-10 and you may literally like kill all the poses, those judges are not going to side for you because they're looking for a representative of their sport.
And I think networking is 50% of your success at the end of the day. So I do think it's so important to just reach out to people, make sure you build those connections, those networking relationships as well for you to actually be able to succeed. Because right now, there's not really that many job opportunities.
Recession, like inflation, it's bad. I'm currently I went through a redundancy, so I know what the job market is like.
Yeah.
And the number one skill and the number one thing that everything arcs back to is the ability to communicate and speak. And
your
to people.
Confidence as well, I think.
Yeah, of course.
If you're confident, you can speak some shit, but people will still buy it.
I'll tell you what helped me with my confidence, like YouTube. I mean, I'm not watching YouTube, but constantly recording myself, watching videos. Because I used to hate the camera. I mean, but like,
of course, I love videos.
The more I was doing it, the more it became natural to me, and I'm able to like talk in front of like an audience now and talk in front of the camera without even thinking about it.
It's just practicing.
It's just practice, and then when you feel comfortable and accepting, no one likes sort of hearing their own voice, but when you sort of become okay with that, I think it's sort of.
That was me before. I used to hate hearing myself because I used to get bullied in high school here for my accent. I'm not even joking. When I came in 2016. I had a very broken English. I still don't understand like a majority of the words.
We've all got accents over here.
We've all got accents here, man.
Yeah, accents.
So
but that's the spice of life, right? If everyone sounded the same and looked the same, then everything get really boring.
And because of that, I was so insecure about my accent.
And now you're doing podcasts.
Yeah,
so
I am.
Well done.
Yeah.
There you go. You're doing podcasts now.
You are getting better though. You are getting a lot better.
Yeah. That's why, like, I never wanted to, like, kind of do any talking videos on my Instagram. I never, like, last year, I would never speak on Instagram.
No.
Never. I would never record
Most people don't. Even English people. Most English people don't because they're scared. And a good tip or trick is to become a better public speaker is having a thought, an idea, and then how to efficiently articulate that thought idea to someone else as simply as possible. That is what communication really is. Even now myself, I sometimes struggle. Even this podcast, I'll tend to have sometimes very complex thoughts and ideas, and I'll struggle.
Struggle to speak about it. That's what happens.
But the more you do it, right? The more you do and the more you practice, the more you do stories. It's not just a case of look at me, vanity, people are hearing me speak. Well, you are continuously practicing something that's going to be the most important skill set you can possibly have in life. Honestly.
It's like sometimes I want to say something in a podcast, but then I'm just thinking, okay, that won't make sense. Or like,
I'm sometimes
trying to figure out.
Well, sometimes I feel it. Sometimes I feel it.
Overthinking.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I think the stories is a good one because obviously it's gone after 24 hours, in it.
Yeah.
And like, I think stories now, they get more engagement than posts.
I agree.
100% stories. And even, for example, let's say you got a thought, an idea, and you want to talk about something or articulate something. All you got to do, especially if it's around a group of people, to drop the seed. And gather other people's thoughts and ideas to help you with that thought process.
I used to kind of have I used to care what people think as well. Like that's why I never used to record myself. Now I don't care. Like
I think
at the end of the day, if you guys watch someone on the story, it's not like
it's gone within 10
how
seconds.
many times have you just actually skipped past the story?
Yeah, like
most people don't care, man. If they come to the gym, like they don't care if you're videoing yourself or not. They just want to be able to do their weights, go home, have a cup of tea, go to sleep.
Watch half of your story.
People are so self-conscious. It's like people are not coming to the gym when they're going outside of the front door in focus and thoughts of you.
No.
Right? So
come and train.
That's it.
They might see a story, oh yeah, cool, okay. They're not actually going to even make a valid opinion, if that makes sense. They don't care enough to actually...
I think people prefer to hear people talk as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's more interactive. It's more relatable as well. And you can see the raw emotions rather than just typing it out.
Yeah.
So it's always good.
Yeah.
Plus, you can portray a lot more emotion through saying something and how you're saying it and the enthusiasm versus typing.
How you presenting yourself.
Voice tone apparently is like the biggest indicator about how you feel and how you communicate. The voice tone is very, very important. It's not how... And body language as well.
Because AI is going to take over everything, right?
Yeah.
If you are talking about, let's say, text and communication, typing and stuff like that, AI as it stands, and again, this could open a completely different kind of worms. I'm sure that can be a talking point for a future podcast. But AI is going to replace a lot of that text that's currently happening now with social media. So how do you stay ahead of that? How do you keep ahead of that?
I mean, that's a question, isn't it?
Yeah, so no, you got to speak. If you don't speak, you'll get left behind.
Yeah.
Because this is the only thing that AI cannot replicate, because AI doesn't have the emotional intelligence yet.
We look back 10 years, which is not...
You can look back 5 years. AI was not this advanced.
Google Maps, man. Remember Google Maps on your phones?
Guys,
you can actually travel around.
I used that last week in Germany.
I've only found out about ChatGPT in January. Like,
where have you been, ChatGPT? Honestly,
I did not know about ChatGPT.
How long's that been out for, ChatGPT? I've only used it once.
3 years. So let's say, all right, I'll give you guys an example of how ChatGPT can be used. Let's say you've got to do a report around finance XYZ.
That's what I've been doing for my ass.
Don't say that to me.
Don't say that, right? So on ChatGPT, ask it to give you 4 different talking points. I'll give you 4 particular bullet points, and that's when you can go into and provide your ideas or thoughts around it. There's so many tools out there, visual tools, ChatGPT, but not a lot of people are actually getting on board with this. And the multimillionaires now that are becoming multimillionaires and seeing success.
They're the ones who are taking on board.
Exactly.
100%. Because you got to think now there's generative AI as well, where it actually generates you the text for you. Right? It can make it sound friendly. It can make it sound stern. It can make it sound informative.
Scary,
you know?
Yeah. It's not. It's exciting. You either find it scary. If you find it scary, you're gonna left behind because you're not gonna.
You gotta embrace it because
you need to embrace it. Yeah, and you got to think with the generative AI images as well.
Yeah.
The ideas that the AI comes up with is not something that a regular person that's not an artist.
Well, I use it in my editing now with the editing software I use. It's got a lot of AI technology, and it saves so much time.
Oh yeah. And
it's crazy. Honestly, in the next 5 years.
If you look back 10 years ago, like in supermarkets, saying like you had to go to someone to buy something.
Whereas now it's replaced by machines.
Yeah.
I think it's quite sad, to be honest. I like being served by a person.
Yeah, because you communicate with them.
Imagine gyms, right? Coming to the gym, right? There's no people around. There's just this robot they're just spying you. Then what is the purpose of gym?
There's no people.
But I think that's what makes independent gyms good, though, because there's a person on the counter. I mean, if there was no staff here and there's no reception, the gym wouldn't be what it was.
Oh yeah, no, because we welcome people. Make sure we show them around. People do feel.
It's scary though, man. That literally ChatGPT could be a next PT. Like that's a scary thing. Imagine that next 5 minutes.
Don't get me wrong. When it comes to ChatGPT, there are already not AI generated apps, but there's apps that are using AI to generate people's workouts.
Have you guys seen those robots? Like
So they actually
girls and humans.
Yeah, they look at your weight, height, gender, age, all of these things, and actually generate your workout.
Yeah, but not just like in terms of workouts. People are generating personalities and having relationships. That
it's not called personal training anymore, is it? Because it's not very personal.
It's not very personal. It's just training. You know what I mean? With like it's
AI training. That's what it is. But at the end of the day, like a lot of people are using that to get the training in.
Like technology.
But even before that, before AI and ChatGPT, a lot of people use filters. Then again, it happens if someone's using filters in their photos and videos, that's also part of artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah.
And he asked you the question, well, what is now considered human and real and what isn't? Right? So, and this has been going on back since 2014, 15, 16 with the inception of Instagram.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you are looking at dating someone or you're looking at your idea of, okay, I think this person is that particular identity, but then again, they're being manipulated in such a way. And that then asks the existential question of what it is that something is real and what isn't.
Yeah.
Or what's widely accepted as you can edit just up to that point versus completely blowing it out of proportion and editing
the
more.
essential question is, when are you taking it too far with AI, right? What would you consider as unnatural?
That's what I mean. Because are you catfishing then? Is that then your identity?
Change your hair, whiten your teeth, straighten up. You can put a smile on
taking the
face.
yeah.
Straighten the hair, curl the hair, change the skin color, change the eye color.
So all right, here's another question for you girls as well. Is that guys that have hair transplants?
Yeah.
Is that something that's frowned upon by you two, or you don't mind, or is why?
I don't mind.
I don't mind.
No, that's
For me,
not.
hair transplants are the same as boob implants.
Yeah.
It's just.
No, I feel like
For me, it's the same because it's improvement of self-image at the end of the day.
It's no big deal now, is it? Having
hair transplants. No, it's nothing.
It's not a big deal, yeah.
But what if a guy had a toupee? Let's say like, let's say shave the crown of his head. Because again, this is the next thing. Some people don't want to go under the knife.
Goodness, you know.
So some guys will shave the top of their head.
We actually had a member here with a toupee.
They'll have a toupee.
Wait, what's that?
It's just
It's like a mini wig.
It's a mini wig.
It's called what's it? There's a name to it. It's called hairpiece, I think.
Hairpiece.
I would just tell him to shave you off.
No, for me again, it's like self-image. I know it's very important to some people, and that's what brings you confidence. It's absolutely fine.
Pec implants. What do you think about that?
Pec implant. That's taking it too far because it's something that you can actually build.
Chest implants.
Or like boobs.
No, muscles.
Yeah, no, it's not muscles. It's basically like implants for a guy to have like
Yeah.
Just
So it's like
What?
Yes, and then
Things like that exist.
there's bicep implants, there's tricep implants.
well, back in the
I
day,
never knew about.
they used to have calf
I knew.
implants. Like, because
calf implants.
yeah, because you know a lot of the sort of black bodybuilders struggle with calves. So I'm not going to mention his name because he's a good friend of mine. He was called out for having calf implants.
Yeah,
So fake muscles, basically.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what it is.
But then again, what about jaw implants? Because people still seem to accept jaw implants and fillers and stuff.
I understand like boob job or
Like Zac Efron with his big hench jaw and like his implants.
Oh, isn't it? It's like it goes out sideways. Like it's weird. Like he was a good-looking guy. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, so does that mean that because if it's now accepted by celebrity, because usually celebrities tend to do it first, and that tends to trickle down to the normal public.
Celebrity world is just a whole different world. What's okay for them? It's just like out of my conception of what's normal.
apparently now the trend is to look skinny to all the
chic.
the Kardashians, for example. Back in 2016, they had big BBLs, everything. Now suddenly Kim Kardashian decided to
dissolve.
Dissolve her BBL, whatever, all of them, and the lips and everything. It's getting dissolved.
That's why you shouldn't follow what's in fashion or Vogue.
Yeah, because
Don't follow that.
Maybe she's fasting.
For 18 hours.
because in 2000s or we watch the movies about the teenagers, they used to have like thongs up, their jeans would be like open.
Yeah. It's coming back around. The 90s is coming back
All
around.
the fashion from the 90s, like how people are dressing, it's coming back.
It's always going to be in cycles. All fashion, music, everything like that, everything that's kind of trend related will always come back in cycles.
Look
That's
at
what trends are.
the Air Jordans everyone was wearing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was wearing them back in the 80s. I was first came out.
Those trousers, what are they called?
Flares.
Oh, the
Flares.
Yeah.
When I was like 14, 15 and my mom
come
wanted
from
to
the
buy me a
80s.
jeans, flare jeans, and I was like, no, I would never ever wear this. And now
Fashion.
I own flares.
You fell into a cycle, which is normal, of course. You start liking what other people like we social people. as
Same
human
with the
beings.
Jordans.
Same thing with veneers as well, though, man. It's like, especially through the cardinal sins, the fashion cardinal sins that people have made in the last 10, 15 years, is that people don't understand that fashion or ways of thinking tends to repeat itself.
Yeah.
So when people have placed themselves under the knife or under plastic surgery, it's like, well, if you constantly try and chase what's Vogue, you're never going to truly be happy with yourself because that doesn't necessarily fit in with your particular body type.
Have you heard about rib removal as well? What do you think about that? That's the most stupid thing. Ribs are meant to protect your organs.
Yeah, but how do you get to that stage in life when you wake up first in the morning, right? You're hungover.
What benefit does it have?
Yeah.
It gives you an hourglass shape. It cinches your wasted. That's why people get removed. Yeah.
But some people are not going to naturally have an hourglass shape. You just straight down, and it's like accept what God gave you, man. Like,
exactly. For me, for example, I don't have.
Well, if you say that, then like, why'd you train then? Why'd you do this?
Yeah, but at least that's natural up to a certain extent. I'm trying to work with what God gives his son.
This is like a protective cage for your organs.
Let people do what they want to do. If they want to,
Do not take your ribs out.
Let them be. You know,
Up to the
Do
point.
not take your ribs out.
as long as it makes them happy and it doesn't affect me, then I don't really care.
But then again,
take your ribs out.
it's, for example, I agree with that. But if it comes to a certain point where if they take those risks, then they have to depend on, let's say, the NHS to correct some of the mistakes. And that's the problem there, because if I'm a abled, healthy adult, right, and there's something wrong with me because that's not through no fault of my own, and I need to use the NHS versus someone that's taken their ribs out and 10 years down the line they got to use the same level of service from the NHS. Should that person morally have the ability to be seen by the NHS?
No.
Or should that person be trumped versus someone else that didn't place themselves in that exact position?
I think that should be private more than anything, if that's the case, because at the end of the day, NHS is already so busy. It's overcrowded in terms of the patients, right? So the people who might actually need those surgeries, need those surgeons to do the procedures for them, have been in line for months at a time often, right? For example, my little sister, she has a little issues with her heart and she has to wait about 6 months just to get scanned. So imagine what it's like to actually wait for a big surgery when you don't have that many surgeons.
Well, I'm about to wait maybe 6 months for like a test.
Exactly.
Pay private for it.
Exactly. So imagine your health is,
That's why I don't.
might be detrimental, right? You might be, you might like be at the point where you might die if you don't get that surgery. But then again, someone in front of you decided to remove their ribs, and now they're in front of you.
Or Dave with the veneers from Turkey that didn't exactly work out. Like, he needs to see the doctor in front of you and he got a serious issue.
You know what? I used to have thyroid problems when I was younger. So obviously I did a check here in UK like 2 years ago just to double check if I'm still okay. And they said that I got thyroid. So I went back home to Poland because I always do, every time I go to Poland, I always do checks, all the blood tests, everything.
Yeah.
And they said that I don't have it, I'm all healthy. So every time I do any checks, I always go to Poland.
Is it free? Is it, or do you have to pay for it?
I had to pay for it.
It's a lot cheaper, I suppose.
Yeah, but I'll rather invest that money in Poland and pay for that whatever £200 or whatever the amount is. But I'd rather get checked there because I know the results will be like correct. I just don't like.
I would go even for a third opinion if I were you, because obviously if you get a no, if you get a yes.
Yeah, but the doctor was like, the doctors are so rude, and it was only one blood test went there. I did few.
The doctors here aren't even from this country.
No, the doctors aren't even from this country. Like,
Please, they're so rude. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I don't think I just generally think they're really tired.
No,
Probably overweight.
Yeah, you gotta think like NHS doctors, they work.
We have a lot of doctors
every
actually.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we have like a nurse that I've spoken to personally. She works for NHS. She comes in here in the evenings and she is so tired all the time. And what she thinks about is like, oh, I need to be in the hospital. Then I'm coming back. Then I don't have time to myself. They give their lives away to a patient.
I'm talking about GP doctors.
Even them as well, because
Different level.
no, there's no.
Or the receptionist and the GP. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about doctors.
No, of course. But like, even like when you're a doctor, you gotta think you'll be dealing with so many different people. You don't have the mental health.
They do, but they sit on their ass in the room for like.
You allow 15 minutes. Allocated 15 minutes.
And it's normally booked back to back, and everyone's complaining, everyone's in pain. No one's. You don't go to a doctor.
But no one wants. But no one really wants to hear exactly how to fix the issues. They just expect
Just tell you
a
to
quick
take
fix.
paracetamol.
Yeah.
That's why when I'm ill, I don't even bother going to the doctors because I'll know what I'm gonna hear it.
Broken or something. Like if I broken a bone, I'll go then. Like if I need a scan.
Luckily, I never broke anything.
I'm clumsy. It happens a couple of times a year.
Right, do you want to wrap this up?
Yes, let's wrap this up.
Yes, I'm hungry.
Thank you guys for coming and joining us. And
Watch out for the next episode, which will be next week.
like, subscribe, and follow.